Hello, welcome. I am artist Lisa Christensen. I believe that creating and giving our art is twofold joy. We paint joy, we give joy. This Christmas season, learn watercolor through the ABCs of watercolor. I am on E in the ABCs, so E for evergreen. I love painting evergreen trees. Christmas is my favorite time of year to paint these trees. I am using simple supplies. I use three colors: Daniel Smith Undersea Green, Deep Sap Green, and then to get started, I like to have my 140 card pound watercolor paper cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm using the Tailored Expressions sentiment stamp set Modern Holiday Greeting, which is placed in a Misti stamping tool and then stamped in Brown Archival ink, which is chocolate truffle from Tailored Expressions. And make sure the stamp is positioned perfectly on my watercolor paper. I do not want it to be crooked. And once I know that it is perfect, those guides really help, and it looks perfect to me, then I can go ahead and use my ink and get that all inked up. The archival ink is archival, so it doesn't smudge and it doesn't change. It doesn't bleed when I put water on it, so it's really nice to have. And now that I'm done with that sentiment, then I can actually paint my scene. But it's always easier for me if I know I'm gonna want a sentiment to put the sentiment on first and then paint it. Alright, so to get started, I've got my little pie pan that I use as my palette, and then I'm going to cut and just paint my tree. Alright, now that I have all of my supplies ready to go, I'm going to take that beautiful sap green and I'm going to mix that with my indigo, and I'm also going to add a little bit of that red, a crimson red that was just on my palette, and I really am just going to start making some marks like a triangle, and then I'm going to go down a bit further and use the thicker part of my brush in making it thicker and more indicative of a Christmas tree. And then I like to paint my sky. Sometimes I paint my sky first, sometimes I paint it after the tree. It really just kind of depends on my mood. I don't have a set way. It just depends on kind of how I'm feeling with the painting. I let the painting kind of dictate what it needs. I'm a very intuitive artist. I have something in my mind and then I just go for it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I paint a lot of Christmas trees, and so I just go with it. But I do like indigo for a moody sky, and I'm going to drop in my background. So I'm still working on the background. The tree is my foreground and my focal point, but I need a background to add some interest. So just with some indigo, I'm adding that beautiful background, and it's going to dry a lot lighter. And I'm just working on the trees. The sky in the background kind of goes and make it into like one thing. And then once it's dried, I come back and I add more to the Christmas tree. But the tree itself is about dry, and I'm just adding a little bit of form to the snowbank, and it will dry a lot later. All right. I'm just kind of cleaning up my edges, making sure that I'm ready to start painting the tree again. So again, I'm doing that same thing that I did before, making little marks as a triangle, and I'm letting the watercolor kind of blend into the background. This is very normal. A lot of artists do that just to give it an atmospheric look. And now I'm going to go back from indigo to my undersea green to my sap green. I'm using a whole bunch of different tones right now because I really want some depth to this tree, and I know that I can get that by adding different greens to my Christmas tree. And I'm using the tip of my brush a bit more to go in to define those beautiful branches. And that is really about all I need to do. I am going to let this dry completely, and I'll come back and add the final touches. So get in, get out, and use the tip of your brush to get those beautiful lines. Once it's dried, I can come in with the tip of my brush, and I want really dark greens and blues. I don't want a whole lot of, I don't want light. I want it to be dark, and I want it to be green. And so again, I'm doing the same thing, and this time you can really see my brush work, and I'm just using the tip, and I'm really using a light touch just to get those beautiful brush strokes in. And I just love this technique. It's so much fun. You do this with flowers. I do this with um, any kind of landscape that I color block in, and then I just add to my beautiful line work. Now I'm going in and making a trunk. I don't want my line to connect completely, and I am about finished, and that looks good. It's dried. And now for the finishing touches, I just put it on a card panel, card base. It was on a card panel, and I'm just writing my name at the bottom. A lot of my recipients really like it when I sign my cards, which I can see why. Anyways, if you found this video to be helpful, please like this video and consider subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it, and have fun painting evergreens. They are so addictive to paint. Have fun!